Welcome to Spirit Art with Lauren. It is July 2023, but if this comes to you at a later date, trust that it was going to resonate with you and what you need to hear at the moment. Today, as a spiritual message, I was very guided to do this live and make this very messy. So what we're actually going to do is do a full water wash all over this whole piece of paper. And as I do this, I am actually going to say my prayer. Dear Spirit, Divine Intelligence, I ask that whatever messages come through today are for the highest good and highest vibration of everyone who's listening and watching, and is for their greatest healing. Amen. So we're just going to dab on colors. That's really what I'm guided to do today, and just trust the process. And I think that's a big part of what we're meant to talk about today. You know, sometimes I think we are so worried about control and everything kind of going our way, and Spirit is asking me to be quiet for a moment as we do this. I'm working as fast as I can because once we're done with this, I actually want to be able to use this wet paint to create the message. And you will see what I mean when we get there. So I'm just using some healing colors. Like I said, lots and lots of wetness. Just not even really paying attention to where it's going, just throwing it on the paper. Now, if you've watched this channel before, this is actually the first time I've done this technique. And I am very much just trusting the process and trusting Spirit to tell me what to do and to how to work with this paint to give a message to you. Okay. All right. So we have the paint saturated all over the paper. I'm just adding in a little bit of water just to make sure that this is still very wet. I'm going to grab a couple dry brushes. Dear Spirit, I ask you to send a message through artwork and my hands, fingertips, color brushes, and voice for the greater healing of all who's tuning in. Amen. So as I'm moving this brush, it's picking up color and water. To create the shape. All right, so if you look at actually what Spirit has asked us to do is we kind of did like a winding road is what I'm getting guided to say. That's what that is, with stops along the way. So what this is basically saying is that healing and our journey through life is not necessarily straightforward. There's a lot of bumps along the way, a lot of challenges. Part of the life journey that is happening with someone who could be listening in right now is all about learning confidence on who you are and your purpose in this world. And when I talk about purpose, it doesn't have to be anything grandioso. It doesn't have to be Mother Teresa or presidents. It's about your purpose that resonates in your heart, that you know makes you feel good and helps spread love and joy to others. Because when you focus on something that feels good to you, it radiates out. So in this journey that's being represented by orange, the confidence in finding a Hayu in life purpose was represented by this yellow, what I would call blob. This orange is representing a bird. Okay. Now this bird, as hard as I might be able to see, because it's very much a blob turned into a bird. This is about a hawk. And if you look at the spiritual message of a hawk, it's about strength. It's about a bird's eye view of the situation. It's about, when a hawk flies above everything, it's looking with its eyes and watching for movement and opportunities below them to feed and nourish the hawk. So it's asking you to take a step away for a moment for what's going on in your life. Take away the emotions and take away the view of it being right front and center that's causing a lot of chaos in your life, and stepping back and taking a greater perspective and how that you can change and look for opportunities in the curve and what's happening in your life right now that could be beneficial to you. On the next curve, we're using some blue and a little bit of some green. Both of these colors actually are representation. The blue is recommending communication. We're talking about your throat chakra, asking for what you need to help nourish yourself, asking for what feels good to nourish yourself, and that'll also help your spirit grow in your heart. And put some pink in there, because when we speak our truth and we ask for what makes us feel good, it's an act of self-love. So far as a recap, we have the yellow, which is about confidence and finding what feels good in your heart, that you're meant to do this lifetime, that's helpful for others. In the process of that, having your bird's eye view, right? Using the hawk and the orange and creating opportunities by that bird's eye view, and getting creative when you're looking at that greater perspective and how to use those challenges as an opportunity for you to get what you need. And we also have this little meadow here, which has the blue and the green and the pink flowers. So it's also about speaking up for what you need and getting your needs met. And when we speak our truth and speak on what helps us and speak about having healthy boundaries and speaking from the heart. It also helps us radiate self-love. It's a way of taking care of ourselves in another way that's beneficial to us in our journey. The next part of the journey, it's one of the things that happens in our lifetime, and I'm using the red, is anger. And there's a double-edged meaning to using the red. You know, when we talk about emotions and we talk about anger, it does feel like red, right? It's very strong, it's very intense. But what does anger actually mean? Where is that coming from? What is the anger, the true purpose of that anger? And it's a reminder to us that our boundaries have been violated. And we're angry about that. And sometimes that's connected. So when we're angry about something, that actually has to do about learning how to speak up through our throat chakra on what has angered us and what we need to heal that anger and feel better supported by ones around us to open up our third and our heart again. So those are very much connected with each other. And I drew the lines in between because, you know, in order to heal part of that anger, part of that is communication. But I'm not talking about communication when Spirit talks to me about that, not about like bursts of anger. I'm talking about learning, right? Going back to that bird's eye view and having that greater perspective on what we need and want, and using that anger to create those opportunities and create those times and those perfect moments where we can speak our truth. And that will help the communication that's happening and the confidence behind that communication to feel more supported, have a greater resolution, feel like it's coming more from our solar plexus where we have our confidence instead of something that feels ungrounded. It doesn't mean that we can't burst out in anger anytime. Spirit's not saying that. It's just saying that sometimes we need to take a step back, right? Look at that bird's eye view before we hone in and talk about things that are concerning us. And for this last part of the journey, really guided just to put some little blobs of color. And I think these little guys are going to represent the chakra colors. There they are. Okay. And let's just see what happens when they blend all together. Look at that, they're creating this beautiful flower. Okay. So I very much sense that this overall message is coming through with this chakra color is part of the life message and our purpose for people that are listening into this watercolor spirit art today is about self-love and the journey of self-love. And that's kind of what this whole painting was about, right? It was about listening to our inner being and listening to our emotions and building our confidence up and feeding our inside and how it feels good to our heart. And I feel like that's a really powerful soul lesson in a life. I know that I am learning that right now. I have definitely had bursts of anger, and anger, like I said, has its purpose. Right here, right? We're meant to express anger. When we express anger, it's about somebody violating our boundaries. Right? So that's also part of the journey, is learning how to deal with that. And I've always felt, was in spirit has resonated with me with this too, that we're meant to feel all of those emotions, right? Like that's part of the process. If we didn't feel anger, sadness, joy, all of those feelings, where would we be? We really are meant to express ourselves. And for somebody that's listening, I really feel like that's part of the journey. That's part of my journey. I don't know about you guys. It's definitely part of my journey. I'm just adding in some gold into the journey, because I just want to remember when I look at this later that all of this is stuff that feeds our soul. This is all stuff that's good for us. I don't normally do this, and actually, I very much find this channel is ever evolving. But there's another message coming through, so I'm actually going to step aside this painting and put it to the left here. And we're actually going to start a fresh one, because I feel like I have a message from an actual spirit coming through for somebody who's listening. And I would like to channel that while we're here. So it's not a spirit that was from this dimension. This is actually a message from Mother Mary, Lady Guadalupe. She's had many names in her evolution. Very simple, but very powerful. Love. We are meant to love in this lifetime. Love of ourselves and love of others. Love. If you had to put a word to this overall message today, all of this communication that happened in the art that we represented is about love, right? Learning to love ourselves, learning boundaries, learning what's good for us, learning to find opportunities in our lifetime that are beneficial to us and listen to them. That's all about our love journey. It's all about learning to express ourselves in a healthy way and learning that doing so is an act of self-love. Thank you, Lady Guadalupe. Thank you for that message. To anyone who's listening to this right now, I want to make it very, very clear that none of my artwork, none of my channeling, none of my spirit art has any judgment in it whatsoever. And often I'm on a very similar journey. So this is, as I give messages to others, this is also for me. What Spirit just wants us to know is that, we have these innate abilities within inside of us to take care of ourselves in ways that we know or may not know. And that's what this is all about. I hope that this message today was healing for you to hear. I hope that it resonated with you in a way that helps your soul, because that's the most important part. And I hope that the moments that resonate with you the most, you can take with you on a subconscious level, and that you go about your day. I hope that it helps you, because that's the goal of this channel. Amen. If you liked, if this resonated, if you want to leave a comment, if you want to subscribe, like, share, whatever that means to you, whatever you're guided to do, please do. That helps my channel in a big way and helps get messages out to others who may need to receive them for their greater healing. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you soon.